vision that we learn.
Boys and girls, welcome to the Refined Life Podcast, where here we get refined AF, and you know what that means. Alien farts. We already had that discussion. Over here, we got Mr. Jeff Suter. He's my longtime partner. Jared Blake is on his way to Wisconsin, so he couldn't come hang out with us today, but that's okay. We knew who to call when you need somebody to get you out of a pinch or to pinch your butt. The one and only best kisser I've ever seen in my life, the one and only Mr. Butter.
I had to prove it, baby.
Yeah. Well, come on over. I got this nice Ghost drink. Now, Ghost doesn't sponsor us, but after this episode, look, we match. Okay. Anyways, we're gonna be getting sponsored by Ghost. So with that being said, I'm so excited to have you on here, Butter. I don't know why we've been having a podcast for over a year now, and you ain't been on an episode yet. Probably because you're so famous, doing your red coat. What do you call it? Big Cash Bash downtown.
Cash bash.
And launching different labels and different, media companies and doing your thing. That's cool. But with that being said, I don't know if y'all have you ever met in person?
I feel like we have.
Yeah, maybe at one of your birthday parties.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That I had no clue was going to happen.
I know, it's a surprise.
I literally was like, wait a second.
Yeah, that was a good
This
day.
is a real thing. That's the first time my wife ever pulled something off on me. Well,
I don't feel like you reacted like it was pulled off, though. You didn't shed any tears.
I wanted to see you cry.
Yeah.
I cried. I probably cried on the way there just talking.
I cried, yeah.
I cried. I was so excited. I cried.
I cried.
I was like, look at all this love for Bigg Vinny.
It was a lot of love.
And I shed tears. Real tears.
Hey, that's where I got this wallet at. My brother got me this for my birthday. And my birthday as well.
The Superman?
Yep. And that's all the money it's in there. It's all ones. It looks like it's a lot, but it's all ones. Anyway, with that being said, Butter, there's so much history that we have that we could go back and forth and talk about and all that good stuff. And we're going to do that. But I want you to just give a quick little synopsis of your life. You got 3 minutes.
Okay.
To tell us what brought Butter to Nashville, what drives you on a daily basis, and what makes you have that get up and go to make your life a little bit more refined every day.
And one more thing.
And
What
one
makes you the best kisser?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. Can't
Well,
believe that part.
that's self-explanatory.
Look at them lips.
Well, I'm originally from Ohio. I grew up on a dairy farm. We raised Holsteins and Chippendales. I had chores every day. I had to go out and milk the Chippendales, and that's how I got the nickname Butter. And I moved to Nashville to chase the dream to be a songwriter. I came here, graduated from MTSU, and spent 15 years trying to do it on my own. Couldn't figure it out. Then I met Bigg Vinny, and within a year we had a record deal.
Bam!
Boom!
Boom.
I needed a co-pilot. And
Yeah.
Bigg Vinny came in and changed everything. We got discovered by Toby Keith. Our songs we were writing and playing at frat parties, all of a sudden we're on the radio. We were on a tour bus. Now I'm here on your podcast, dude.
Dude, we were on
Ready to kiss you.
We were on the, yeah. I'm not sure. If you kiss me, then I'm going to have to go home and tell my wife, like, you were the best kisser. Now it's Butter. So we're going to have to leave the kiss off for today. Maybe later. It's 2024. We could do it. Nobody even care. They wouldn't even bat an eye, With that being said, so, Butter, we've made a lot of money together.
We've sold a lot of beer, too.
We have sold a lot of beer. And we've spent a lot of money together. And we probably lost a lot of money together
Hey,
as
we
well.
spent a lot of money on women and whiskey.
Yeah.
The rest we just wasted.
That's right.
Yeah.
I like it. My kind of party right there.
You see, I told you was going to love Butter. But listen, no be trying to replace me with Butter after we leave today. A lot of people don't realize this, but whenever I came to town, I just wanted to be a songwriter. And it was really two friends of mine, one of which was Scott Harris, who we hadn't got to have on the podcast yet, and the other one was Butter. They were the ones that really got in my ear and were like, no, man, I think you're an artist. Like, I think you're more than just a songwriter. And I was worried because, Butter can attest to this because he had to be the one doing the work. I didn't have a clue. When we got our record deal, I didn't know how to come into a song. Like, I didn't know what beat. He'd have to go like, or his old, he licked one tooth, the old jewel tooth, and to let me know it was my turn to start singing, And so that was how I really got through that first little bit. And I became a better singer over the years. Still, my timing sucks. But I became a better singer over the years. Everything through working in the studio. People don't realize Butter really produced most all the records that we did. He was really the mastermind behind the sound that was Trailer Choir. And we were, I don't want to call it bro country, but we were kind of that feel or that sound before it was even a thing.
We were cold beer country.
Yeah, we were cold beer country and whiskey jammers before whiskey jam was a thing. But no, it was one of the things like Butter was huge in the development and creation of me even being able to do music for a living. And, getting the publishing deals together. First, we started off with a publishing deal together, which gave us a little bit more freedom to tour, play. This dude was already out. He had a thing called the Butter and Sugar Show for a while. He had Butter Boy, Pokey Brown, Moonshine Cherry Bombs.
No one in Nashville has had more iterations than Butter here. I've got a new one now, so it's like it's just iteration.
It's just cold beer butter now.
No, now it's the Butter Bash.
Oh, the Butter Bash.
It's Your Boy Butter is now my full name.
Yeah.
My first name is Your Boy, Urboy.
Prince ain't got shit on butter.
Well, the thing is when you're just Butter.
Rattle can.
You can't get, you can go on down the list. I have more iterations, but you just can't find Butter if you type in Butter. So I had to come up with a first name. Mark is my first name, but Mark Butter or Butter Fortney. So Your Boy, because I always say, hey, it's Your Boy Butter. So Urboy is my first name now. But really, Vinny, when you talk about the sound of Trailer Choir, it was your voice and my voice sort of combined, because a lot of times on our tracks, you were singing unison with me.
Yeah.
And Crystal's incredible harmonies, our boy Suge, really our sound, the Trailer Choir, we wrote party songs. We wrote, stuff that fit our show. But really it was, I think a lot of your voice and mine matched together. It actually gave my voice some depth. Yeah. And where I was singing, you knew where to sing, so we were helping each other.
Well, I mean, I didn't know where to sing. I just did what Butter told me to do. So, but, yeah.
There you go. Look at those guys.
Is this Your Boy Butter? What is it?
That's a Trailer Choir picture.
Yeah.
Back in the day?
Back in the
you
day.
youngins.
We were youngins. We're
Bigg
still
Vinny
youngins. What do you mean, were?
No, Bigg Vinny's baby face.
He was baby face.
If I shaved this off.
Hey, Bigg Vinny went for, I had a Blackbeard period I went through. There's another iteration. I was Blackbeard Butter for a while. But Vinny had an afro period where he literally had a big curly brown afro.
And I wore a headband.
And I loved it.
And Butter said, put on a headband.
Let's bring it back.
Well, see, I would, but then,
Hey, them afro days are gone.
Yeah. Yeah, now I'm just an aphrodisiac for all the women. That's all I got.
We got to get your test levels up, and maybe it'll start coming back.
Yeah, if I go get some of them implants.
Or that.
Go to Turkey. Turkey, you can get those implants for cheap.
Everything's cheap in Turkey right now.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to go to Turkey right now. But once this too shall pass, then we'll go to Turkey. It was cool. I mean, our sound was something that was awesome. And what was really cool with Trailer Choir that I always kind of admired with the way Butter handled stuff is we just played 3, 4, 5 times a week. We had people back then would be like, well, you want to be Nashville's best kept secret? And Butter's like, no, we don't. We want everybody to know we're here, So we would go out on the weekends and play 2 or 3 frat parties. Sometimes we'd play a tailgate party during the day and a frat party at night. And we were carrying our own system with us. We literally would load up in his Montero Sport that he had, and we'd load that thing down, and then we'd put a little U-Haul trailer that's not supposed to go over 45 miles an hour, according to the wheelbase. But we would load up and we would go to Wofford College in South Carolina and Georgia and play all the frat houses and all this stuff. But during the week, I mean, we were playing Music Mafia, the Billy Block Show, any random night that we could get on, we were going out and playing. And we started our own shows with a bunch of our friends at Fuel. What was it called? Fireside Nights or whatever it was.
Yeah, I don't remember that one. But we just played, man.
We just played.
Fuel, the one that went in the old bar Nashville?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the girl that ended up being in our band, Crystal, she wasn't with us during those times, but her boyfriend at the time was the owner of that bar. Exactly. And so as we continued to grow, she kind of became more into our lives, and we become, closer friends with her. And we invited her one night to be the backup singer, on one of our deals. And when Toby saw us, he thought we were a trio. And it was the second time Toby had seen us. Actually, the first time he saw us, we had a girl with us named Jules Hanson, who jumped up for, I think, just 1 or 2 songs to sing with us. And so Toby just thought we were a trio. And so we could have fought and been like, no, it's just a duo. And I think Toby would have went with it. But we knew Crystal would put in 10, 12 years of hard work in town. Unless you ask her, she's still 28. But she had put in 10 to 12 years of hard work of, writing songs, working at the day job, playing at night. And, when a guy like Toby Keith says, this is, I think, your path to money is to have this trio, you kind of just say, well, let's see, he sold 60 million records and he's Toby Keith. So you just go along with it. But But there was no doubt. There was, when you look at roles in the band and kind of the way we did stuff, Butter was the leader of what we were doing. And he was, producing and he was doing all that stuff. So I want you to get into that, like, what really put you into that mindset of wanting to do these party songs? Because we didn't have the radio success that a lot of people would have thought for the kind of numbers that we were getting paid and the kind of crowds we were drawing at that time. So kind of, I don't know, was it just the frat parties, or what was it that made you say, this is where we need to angle towards?
I think for me, it's always, everything in my life always sort of retracts back to comedy somehow. I don't know if it's my mechanism to get through life, but I just love moments where there's laughter.
Yeah.
Cooking in the kitchen. Some of my earliest memories, I came downstairs sleeping one night and Steve Harvey was sitting at my kitchen table. My dad owned a comedy club in northeastern Ohio, small one, and Steve Harvey was just starting out up in Ohio. And literally, these comedians would come to the house, and Steve Harvey sitting in my house. I've just always had an affection for comedy. I love it. I love to laugh. I'm a hack of a stand-up comedian myself. The types of songs that we did with Trailer Choir had a little bit of a comedic kind of thing to it. I think that I've always been drawn to the party. I've been a party guy my whole life. I love the times that people are together where there's that energy, and I've just kind of naturally fought for it. I think it's just wired into me. I'm not the tallest guy in the world.
5'11" or so.
5'11", 5'12". And so I think comedy was always my way of, just integrating with people. And I love it. I love making people feel good. I love to feel good. That's why I love the kitchen and cooking and music. And our show and the Trailer Choir show was always built around the audience and integrating with the audience. And as we really started taking shape here in Nashville, all the songs that we had already kind of written before we even had a record deal, we were playing these at our parties.
Yeah.
One of the things, and I've heard you say it, we would play frat parties on the weekend, and we'd play original shows in Nashville Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday we were somewhere in the SEC playing a cover show. We wanted to write songs that we could play in that cover show next to Sweet Home Alabama and Save a Horse Ride a Cowboy. We wanted our Trailer Choir songs to fit into that. And that was a natural thing for me. And I think that's kind of where it all generated from. I just loved that party atmosphere.
Yeah.
And it was just a natural fit.
No, I feel like when we were sitting down to write these songs like Hillbilly Hook and Rolling Through the Sunshine, we were like, okay, what can Rolling Through the Sunshine replace? Well, it's got this memorable guitar lick. It's got this fun kind of bouncy vibe. It makes you feel good. Sweet Home Alabama kind of feel. And, and that kind of, it went to that. And then, when we wanted to replace Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy, it was like, we wrote it off the Hillbilly Hook. It was like, those were kind of the idea wasn't even ever to get a record deal. Like, we weren't ever calling and being like, hey, come see us and get a record deal. It was literally like, we would play our frat parties. We saw, okay, well, this song makes people react. So let's write a song that we can replace that with in our regular show. And even when I help artists now, I encourage them to do that. Like, look, if you got a song that when you play it, everybody reacts to it, why would you not want to write a song that feels like that song? Mm-hmm. I'm not telling you to go out and copy the exact song. I mean, obviously, if you listen to our songs, they don't sound anything like those other songs. They just have that same feeling. Yeah. And I think, just with Butter's writing and with, me, I was trying to kill somebody in every song back then. I was trying to control the population.
Somebody was dying in Vinny's song.
And Butter'd be like, that's great, but what if they didn't die? I'm like, well, then what would happen? They would go on to live a long, peaceful life. I'm like, I like this idea. It's a good idea. But we would write these songs, we'd put them in the set, and we would watch people react to them. And, Beer Gut, and then what was the other one that really got people reacting in the SEC? Beer Gut was number one for sure. And there was another, was it not Duct Tape and Whiskey? There was another original we played.
I think Rolling
Through the Sunshine, Beer Gut. Oh, Last Man Standing. Last Man Standing really, it just got people on their feet, And even to this day, man, I play it, and even if I do shows without Butter, I play that song in my set because that song was a song Butter wrote with. Who'd you write it with?
I don't remember. I think I wrote it with Scott Lynch and West. I think Suge was a co-writer on that.
So he wrote this song. Well, I took it with me, whenever I went to Biggest Loser. And Chance.
Chance.
No, Timothy Chance. You forget him?
He put the rap on it.
He did.
It was great. I think it lifted the song.
It did.
No doubt.
It did. But I took it with me to Biggest Loser whenever I was out there, and I'd listen to that song every day. And I wasn't even on that version of it that I had. That was the version that you cut, the very original version. I didn't even listen to the album version. because it didn't have the rap in it. So, what kind of had it in there? But anyway, that being said, we had a great career. We've done a lot of great things together. We've written a kid's book together. We've done some really cool stuff. But I want to know, where is Butter at now? What's the goals? What are you shooting for? I've seen you have, like you said, these different ideas that you've brought to fruition. I mean, I think your show Cooking with Butter has been on the Heart Network and has been, I mean, I get tagged in it like every other day, you know, when they show the episode with me and you in it. And I thought your production value was great on it. The stories you told was great on it. I think it could, you know, have its own, you know, life again in a new world.
Yeah.
But kind of tell us, what are you doing now? What's the goals? What are you pushing towards? You know, where are you doing to, you know, ensure your family's health and safety?
Ensuring my family's health and safety is my wife is really
that's
doing
her
great
job
with the finances right now. I think for me, the guitar and music was always the vehicle to just be an entertainer. I think I was just wired from the beginning to, I love entertainment. I love entertaining crowds. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's a selfish thing, but I always have loved entertaining. And, you know, just like we did with Trailer Choir's songs and that band, it was getting people together to have entertainment and good times. And so to me, when I kind of put the guitar down as my vehicle to entertain, there was this whole new world of, well, how do I become Butter the personality or the Butter the brand? And so, you know, Love the Kitchen, Cooking with Butter was started. And I shot, you know, 9 episodes of that. But that show was a way for me to interview people, get people in talking, having a good time. The guests were the chefs. You know, we would cook their grandma's goulash that was special dish to them, and we would get to talk about it. So it was a way to interact and entertain crowds. And I just started this process of trying to figure out what I wanted to do as an entertainer without the guitar. And it was actually kind of hard. I spent my whole life knowing exactly what I was doing, because it was write more songs and play more shows. And it was a pretty defined path. And when I put the guitar down, I knew it was in entertainment, but I wasn't sure, was it as a host, was it a game show, was it a cooking show? And so I went through, like we mentioned earlier, I did all these iterations and I've done all of these different things. Where I am now is what I've done over the last 4 years is now all molded into the Butter Bash is yet my newest thing, but this is it. If this doesn't work, have you ever seen the movie The Founder with
Michael
Keaton? He's holding the dirt in one of the scenes, and he's like, "Please God, be right. Please be right."
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like the Butter Bash is where I'm going to die on this hill. I'll do Trailer Choir shows with you, and we'll do music, but
we got a few coming up.
Yeah, we got the Butter Bash is Cooking with Butter. It's on the streets with Butter. It's Butter on Broadway. It's Singing with Butter. It's Ring Butter's Bell. All of the skits and content that I've shot over the last 3.5 years is all, you know, sort of put into the Butter Bash. But my goal is to really, I want to be on the radio, and I want to take the Butter Bash as a syndicated radio show. My whole life has really been built around country music and country music audiences. We spend a lot of time on the road with radio stations. I feel like when I think about who I really kind of align with and where my audience is, it's the cold beer country crowd. And so the Butter Bash is a radio show that's we're shopping it around, and we've kind of got it built. Got a few people I'm working on with it, but it's just my version of my last 5 years into this show, where it's comedy. We're going to have a lot of comedians on the show, artists, but a lot of skits. I'm kind of doing like a hee-haw version of Butter.
It's like hee-haw on speed, y'all. On speed, y'all.
That's my $5, as Billy Block used to say, the $5 version. That's where I'm at.
I love it, man. I love that you're mixing this stuff together. So, what is, if you had to pick one thing that this is the main focus of the Butter Bash, like this is their first priority, what is that?
Unique comedy, fun comedy on the radio. And it's going to be a challenge to make skits, but I'm going to do like a lot. I'm going to reenact like Family Feud and the $100,000 Pyramid, but with musical guests and with comedians. My goal is to try to bring something to radio that has a country music backdrop. We might not have to have Chris Young on the show, or we might not have to have Dierks Bentley on the show, but we'll be talking about them. We'll reenact the Morgan Wallen chair off the Chiefs building, and we're going to do comedy skits that are built around sort of game show kind of things and some written skit stuff that I think people love. For me, I just was having a trouble building an audience in social media. It's so vast. And I really think that my love for country music and where I've spent most of my time entertaining is connected to these crowds. And I love what radio is and that format, and it's fun. And so that's where I'm sort of fighting for, is comedy skits with a country music backdrop done like Butter does it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I feel like I'm on the bench, you're like my what is it called? Not my counselor, my therapist.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you. I'm talking to you.
Well, I love doing that.
Yeah.
And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn it over to Jeff, because I want Jeff to ask you 3 questions that are blazing his mind right now, because I can tell he's got something cooking up under that beautiful Tom Brady hair
He's got good hair, man.
He does.
I'm sitting here like, man, I could get the profile view.
Did you tell him to say that?
No.
See, Vinny knows I've been working on the hair game. Big time.
Like implanting it, or
No. Just to where somebody would say exactly what you just said.
Are you like? Do you get hymns for hymns, like all that stuff?
Ooh, I need some of
I
that.
need some of them shoes.
You're past
Not for me,
that.
for her.
Which color do we need? Which color do we need?
That looks all natural. I can tell. I had a little hair thing done back in the day. I can kind of spot it out, and so I've been catching your profile here. It looks all natural.
Yeah, it's on. It's all my
good.
hair. It's
Hey,
haven't done
that was
anything other
something
than let it
Butter
grow.
used to do that to me all the time. I'd say, man, that guy, he's got good hair. He's like, Vinny, that's a piece. I'm like, what do you mean it's a piece? He goes, that's a toupee.
Well, like implants have become so easy. Like I think
Yeah.
it's just a thing. People getting work done all the time on their hair, their lips.
Yeah.
Their hair, their lips.
Dude, the lips have gotten out of control. They're
Lips
huge.
lips are pouty.
I mean, I ain't against it, but they're pouty. All right, that's one question.
All right, well, thank you for the good hair, because
Yes.
has been my ultimate goal. Goal accomplished. He just said, "You've got great hair."
You do.
Shout out to my barber.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Alex Blue, because he's the one that inspired the look. Can you see it?
Yeah. Oh, I do see it. Yeah.
First question. I think I would go with. You made a comment a second ago. This is it. Please, Jesus, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
Which means you have been down a path of just one thing after another, going for it. Most people would have quit a long ass time ago. How do you stay motivated?
I think it's wired. It's a natural thing to be a creator. A supportive wife. My wife is an artist. She was a recording artist. We met on the Toby tour. She supports that creative thing that's in me. I feel lucky in that I've never really considered something else. And I think Please Be Right is just, I'm old enough now, and where my family is and where things are, it's like you can only hang on to this entertainment and being a personality. It's a very selfish life. You're constantly trying to get people to your pages, to your shows, drawing attention to yourself. And for me, being passionate about it and having something that I think is valuable, that I think is authentic and real to give to the world, that also can pay me and I can be into, would be such a, just like getting a record deal and doing what me and Bigg Vinny did with Trailer Choir. That was a dream come true, right?
Twice.
So to me, what's kept me going is that I believe I was put here to do it. And I believe that I could give value and bring something to that's unique and have a good time with it. So I feel kind of, led to do it.
Yeah, no, I dig that. I think supportive wife. That's a massive one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's been a huge talk on this show. A lot is just, we all feel like we have, wives that like, okay, we'll go give it a try, And I think you have to have that. If you don't have somebody that's willing to fail with you, then you ain't got your person. If you got somebody that's willing to, if it's easy, well, there's a lot of people want to go make it easy. But you got to have somebody that's willing to fail with you and willing to succeed with you as well. I mean, the goal is always to succeed, but the thought is like, if I fail, are you still going to have my back? Are you willing to live with me, no matter what we do, no matter who we are? And I think a lot of guys don't have that. I think a lot of girls don't have that with a guy. I think there's a lot of girls out there that go out there and crush it, and they got a guy that's like, hey, I'm with you unless you don't have it, then I'm gone, you know. So I think it's one of the most important things you've said. If I had a dropping bombs like Brad Lee, I'd be hitting a dropping bombs.
Yeah, I mean, it's to me, it's like what has kept me going is that I've been able to, I've had good support. I've had lucky to have a great family. When you look at these things, it's that I want the family and my wife and my kids. I want that first. And so when I say, hey, please be right, it's just because I want to do this and I want to be good at it, but I want them to have what they need, and I need to be the guy that's delivering that and helping, finance a family and the things that come along with it. And when you hang out here on these dreams, there's not a lot of middle class.
Yeah.
It's either you get there or you don't. And so I love the challenge, and I feel excited about this. So that's what keeps me going is I believe I can do it.
Heck yeah. You also said, this isn't a question, but something I just picked up on. You said it's a selfish thing, but then you followed that up with you wanting to make people laugh. You're wanting to entertain. That within itself is not selfish. That is providing someone's life a lot of value. And what I've seen, what you've been doing over the past couple of years, it's all entertainment. It's all fun. It's all full of joy.
Yeah.
You view it as comedy. I view it as you're just wanting to make people's lives better, which I applaud. You were doing something with Demps recently?
Yeah, I was part of a company, media company, and she was basically our top,
the face of the place.
She was our biggest influencer, and
I think you hosted the New Year's Eve show with her too.
Yeah, I was doing a radio show on the with the company and doing a weekly radio show, and I was helping with content, and I was doing some on camera, but I was kind of behind the scenes. Her and Jake Banfield was another artist influencer that was involved in it, and just amazingly talented people. And it's really that part of where you realize where entertainment is and where in 2024 what constitutes entertainment. I saw firsthand, especially with Demps, the power and the notoriety that an influencer has. Mm-hmm. She promotes people, but she's a comedian. She is a fantastic actress or actor, whatever the
she's
right
quick-witted
word is.
too.
She's great, and she plows and works so hard. But I was involved in that, and that's kind of where I've been. I've been doing a lot of different things. It was fun to be a part of a media company that was doing content and kind of figuring out where I was, and I learned a lot from her. I'll tell you, it takes a lot to do what that is a modern version of an entertainer.
Yeah,
it's sort of non-denominational. She's just content.
Yeah.
And she keeps her phone on, and she does her hair, and she does her makeup, and she's downtown in Printer's Alley with the phone on. It was fun to watch.
I didn't know who she was a year ago. She came into
Blazing
Autumn store. She came into Rye the Label.
Yeah.
On July 4th. She brought her daughter for the fireworks.
Yeah.
And she came in, and Autumn and Christy were like, "That's Demps. Who the hell is Demps?" And they were like, "Look her up on TikTok." So I looked her up on TikTok, and I was like, "Holy shit!
Yeah,
that's her for sure."
Yeah.
And then from there, like I just saw her everywhere.
We go downtown to do shoots. You thought you were with Lainey Wilson. Yeah. I mean, people just yelling from the balconies, Demps, and she was just great. That you really saw the true power of social. The impact. Especially she's big on Instagram, but her TikTok is just amazing.
Kills it.
Powerful.
Ladies and gentlemen, this episode is brought to you by Rye the Label. We're Demps shops on 4th of July.
She did do a reel
that's cool.
out of there. Yeah, it was pretty cool. All right, second question. I work with a lot of my referral partners. I'm in the mortgage business, so a lot of my referral partners are real estate agents. Mm-hmm. And real estate, like most brands or jobs or careers, have found themselves needing to be in the content creation space. So we focus a lot on trying to help them with personal brands, which you have absolutely nailed, obviously, because you're boy Butter.
Yeah, that's right.
If you told them one thing that they absolutely have to do to build a personal brand, what would it be?
I think be willing to separate yourself from the product to creating entertaining content that can hold somebody's attention to actually consume it.
Yeah.
You know, look at like Monster Energy or like Red Bull, for example. Very rarely do you see Red Bull promoting Red Bull. They're promoting people jumping out of planes and on motorcycles, and so that would be my
They're promoting what
thing.
it does for you, as opposed to
right.
It'll give you wings. You know,
And that I think, you know, depending on where you're at, if you're on social media, where the instantaneous thought to swipe and to move on, that would be my biggest thing is the willingness to stay on brand, but maybe not be so directly promoting the product as it just as the product as a promotion.
Yeah,
you know?
I dig it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's cool because I think, you know, how many real estate agents are there? How many insurance people are there? How are they going to get your attention? I know I've noticed a lot of people that are chiropractors, especially in Murfreesboro, are doing a lot of promotions, and the ones that make it crazy and funny and goofy, I'm like, okay, well, I probably want to go see that chiropractor. You know,
Yeah,
he may not even be the best chiropractor.
Doing the one with the motorcycle flying, where the motorcycle starts to flip, and then
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
chiropractor is transitions into their front row or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff. But no, I dig that. I think we constantly try to tell them be your authentic self, but you can't. It can't just be a video going through the house anymore. Like it's beyond that now.
Yeah, and I think every industry probably.
I think you got to make them. You got to make them kind of fall in love with you before they fall in love with the house.
Yeah.
You got to get their mind first.
I think that's the trick too, is to be able to stay on brand while extending past just the point of sale. This is I'm a realtor. Here's a house. Let me take you through it. There's some form of that, I'm sure, that's good. But if you have some creativity with it, or can do something that becomes a theme and something you can do, I think it garners more attention and people hanging around longer to actually see the post.
Yeah, agreed.
You know?
Agreed.
Are you offering me a job? Did he just offer me a job?
Listen, he does have a referral basis that you can make a lot of good money with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah. All you got to do is refer people to use him as their mortgage broker.
I just signed the deal, right?
Bam.
Here.
You can. You can make a lot of good money.
Yeah.
E-sign.
Yeah, he signed.
Yep. I mind signed it. That's coming in the future. I was going to be able to think yes, and it'd be,
All
oh,
you gotta
shit,
do
I
is
just signed a
blink and it's
contract.
done.
I didn't even mean to sign that, but I yesed it in my head. So, all right, question number 3.
Question number 3. You've got an opportunity to give your favorite Bigg Vinny story, and go. That backfired bigger than shit.
Yeah, you better be nice.
My favorite Bigg Vinny story.
No talking about Vegas. No talking about...
I've heard a little bit about Vegas for the record.
We could do a whole segment on my favorite Bigg Vinny stories. One of my favorites was, I think we were in Florida, and to Vinny's credit, I was a complete mess during the whole trailer choir thing. I thought that my role in the band was to be the complete party guy. So I did all the shots, I did all the drinks, I stayed in that space. So his memory and recollection of what was going on will completely trump anything that I can. But as I recall, I believe we were in Florida.
Sarasota.
You already know where I'm going?
Oh, I already know where you're going.
I had a little jangle in my pocket. I had a little, making some mailbox money. I'd gone out and bought this, I would say NSYNC or, any boy band jacket.
Yeah.
My first.
I called it his Timberlake jacket. So.
My Timberlake. I had this pure white, gorgeous boy band jacket. And I was fooling myself one night. And me and Vinny had spent every single day together for
5 years.
For
like
5-6 years at this point. We were a married couple.
Yeah.
And I would just get into my thing and start chirping and yelling and, getting Butter kind of crazy on him. And we got into it one night. And I told him I was going to whoop his ass. I'd had enough. And he kind of, I think we're outside the hotel. It's probably 2 o'clock in the morning. After
late.
A great show. Cold Beer Butter decides he's gonna now. It's time for me to teach you a lesson, Bigg Vinny.
Well, first he tried to push me and pushed himself.
In my white boy band jacket, brand new, and he basically just kind of turns me around and he ends up sitting on me in the mud in my jacket, and the humbling feeling that I had to finally conclude and basically just say uncle and say, all right, man, all right. helps me up. My jacket's all muddy. We go back inside, shared hotel room, and go to bed. Yeah. That was mine and Vinny's relationship to a T.
My favorite thing, though, was the next morning. We get into the lobby. We're all getting in the van with Sammy Cruz. It was Sammy Cruz and Nathan and I can't remember. The radio guy was Sammy Cruz at the time in Sarasota. Sammy was a good time. He would get you drunk. He would give Butter all the stuff. Yeah. But anyways, we're getting ready to he walks up to me and gives me a hug, goes, "I'm sorry, and I feel like I have scoliosis."
Oh, I said that to you. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I feel like I got scoliosis now.
Polio.
So with the clear memory, what really happened was when Crystal would have a little bit too much wine and Butter would have just a butter night, Crystal would decide that she could outwit Butter and would start trying to take little jabs and make fun of him. And every time I'd say, "Okay, Crystal, you did good," and of course Butter would always get the best of her every time. Well, this in particular night, she wouldn't stop, so Butter wouldn't stop, and Butter, I don't know what he said that triggered her, but she started crying. Now they were going back and forth for hours. It was this whole funny thing. Butter was more quick-witted than her. So she starts crying. So I'm like, "Okay, Butter, that's enough." And Butter's like, "You can't tell me what to do." I was like, "No, bro, I'm saying, you won. She's crying now. You win. I know she started it. You ended it. It's over. Let it go." "No, this is where you got to dig in, Vinny. This is the difference between me and you. When I got the win, I'm about to stay on top." I'm like, "Okay." So then Crystal gets out of the van. She's going into the hotel room, and I grab Butter and don't let him go because he was going to follow her. And because he had won the argument. So then he says, "You think I'm scared of you just because you're bigger than me?" I'm like, "No, I don't. I'm not trying to do that. I just want you to leave her alone." And then he tried to push me, and he pushed himself back. Now, keep in mind, at this time, I weigh a whole 500 pounds. I'm the whole breakfast, lunch, dinner. Yeah, off day. So he pushes me, and he kind of falls back. And I was like, "Listen, that's your one chance. Don't come up and try to push me again." And he took off running, and I caught him about mid-stride, and I put him on the ground. And I was holding him down. About that time, Suge comes over. He's like, Vinny, don't kill him." And I grabbed Suge, and I threw him. I felt bad, and then Suge just went inside. So the end part of this, I don't even know if you remember this or not. We get up, and we're standing there, and we're kind of, letting bygones be bygones, and a cop pulls up, goes, "Is there a problem out here?" And Butter, without missing a beat, goes, "No, we were just wrestling." And that's when I knew. I think that's where the best friend don't bail you out of jail. They'll be sitting right there beside you. Kind of came from. But yeah, and then that next morning he come up with that scoliosis line, and you can't not laugh and love Butter whenever no matter what he did last night, no matter what it was, it's like, damn, that's funny shit. Yeah, that's funny stuff.
It's a humbling feeling as a man. It's a humbling feeling to have another man basically sit on you and tap you out by just literally sitting on you. You have to come to some conclusions about your stature at that point. I will say this. My favorite moment of Vinny where I knew we were forever joined was when we had kind of got this hype going in Nashville, and Toby had showed up to see us one night, and some things didn't work out. The show couldn't happen. We ended up having to go to a different location. We were on a stage. Vinny was known for doing the pop worm. It was part of our show. We were in this really tiny stage, very tiny. It was like for an acoustic set, but here we were, trailer choir, Toby Keith out in the audience, Montgomery Gentry out in the audience. This was
Edwin McCain.
This was our moment happening to perform for Toby. And it came to the part in the show where Vinny was supposed to do the pop worm, and he was like, "I don't know." And I just moved over, and this guy, in a space that was, putting a circle in a box or whatever I don't know how he did it. He goes up height in a space this big, hits the pop worm. The crowd goes nuts. And
I just do want it to be known, this stage was about 6.5 feet off the ground. So if I missed, I was going to the ground.
I was like, "That's a baller. Yeah. We got this. Yeah. We're doing it." Yeah. Record deals, there we went.
Yeah, we had so many great times together. It's kind of remarkable that, we've been going at this for probably 18 years together. I think there's only been 2 incidents. We never hit each other, but there's only been 2 incidents we've ever had where it even got remotely to that level, We've definitely had matches where we didn't agree on stuff, which is kind of every day, and arguments and stuff like that. But only 2 times ever did it get, kind of halfway physical. And I think that's a good thing. When you can put 2 people and you're confined to a space like a tour bus for 18, 24. I mean, there was days we were on that bus every day for 60 days without coming home. I mean, you're stopping at a hotel to wash your clothes, or a truck stop for the day so that the driver can go sleep and get a shower. I mean, like, it's real deal. I mean, it's, everybody, when they think about the road and that kind of life, they're like, oh, it's all glamorous and you're backstage and you're meeting celebrities. All that stuff happened. It was awesome. But there's days and days of just driving.
What's in between all that?
Yeah.
I know. I remember where we got stuck in Nebraska. And the reason I remember this date so well is, we went and seen a movie that night. I think it was Step Brothers that we went and seen in Nebraska. But one of my dad's best friends passed away while we were out on the road. Well, we weren't making any money. You had a tour bus and you had catering every day and you had all that, but we weren't getting paid. So I didn't have enough money to fly home and see this funeral. And me and my brother were both pretty upset about it. And that's when Butter kind of made the call to go to the movie and I'm going to start getting emotional talking about it. But man, it was a rough day. And having somebody could see that and jump in and say, hey, let's go. Let's go to this movie. And that memory is stuck with me forever of us going to see that movie. And having something to laugh about that night. So, anyway, I ain't gonna get emotional. Butter told me I cried more than you
did. I'm telling you, the older Vinny gets, the more he's crying. He cries all the time. That's what I'm saying. He's been crying a lot lately.
But it's all happy tears.
That's why I expect
that's what happens when
happens
when you're being a dad.
Oh yeah,
dude. When you become a dad, things change for you.
They're supposed to, anyways.
Yeah. No. Well, that's true. There are people. Yeah. With that being said, let's we'll get into all that, but we know. I mean, Butters has been a great dad for his family, and takes them out and does stuff with them and teaches them baseball. And Butter was a phenomenal baseball player. A lot of people don't know that he was actually being recruited by the Yankees whenever he was 7 years old.
The only reason I didn't make the team is because I had shin splints.
Yeah, it was shin splints. He was going to be the shortstop. But anyway. So one of the things we like to do on the show, we do like to talk about current events, and there's been some crazy stuff going on in the news and things, and we always like to get people's take on all that different kind of stuff. Me and Butter have had so many in-depth conversations, which people wouldn't expect that from us, but we have a lot of in-depth conversations on everything in life. But one of the things that's kind of been obviously in the media here lately is this Harrison Butker, the kicker for the Chiefs, who, screw the Chiefs, but they keep taking my Titans out or not even my Titans took theirself out last year. Anyways, we won't get into any Ryan Tannehill and stuff like that. But, he's in the news for giving a commencement speech about his feelings, about his beliefs at, a Catholic college. And people got mad about it. People got mad about what he said. Now, I think most people that got mad only watched the little clip that, that whatever media company put up. But I want to kind of see, have you watched the entire speech, or at least a good portion of the speech? And if so, what was your take on it?
Me?
Yeah.
I hadn't really seen the whole thing, and I tend to kind of hide away from the world a little bit. I try to live in my comedian
bubble,
fun bubble.
Yeah.
The butter bubble. Hey, that's a new thing. A new iteration.
There we go.
It's the butter bubble. That's what it is. It's the butter bubble. I don't watch commencement speeches. My main thing is just listening to it and having seen some of it. Sometimes I'm not sure what we call outrage or what the reaction to it is really as much as it seems, because I don't know how many people were truly offended. And, what he was talking about, to me, those are his beliefs, and it really didn't have an impact on anybody.
It didn't hurt
other than
anybody,
he was just telling you what he felt and what was important to him in his life. But I really didn't see what was
the fuss. Yeah,
the fuss about it. And I just know for myself, I'm so grateful that my wife took on some of the roles and the things in our house. Changed my life. And so I see where some of what he was talking about, he's just making an opinion. I'm not sure that everybody was as outraged as it seems. I think in social media sometimes it's like, are we really, or people just talking about it? You read something. Yeah. Was there that much outrage?
Well, I think what happens is the people that get mad about it speak out a lot more than the people that are like, I don't really care. Yeah. It didn't have a weigh-in on my life. And I think anybody that was mad about it, it didn't change their life at all. It didn't hurt their life. It didn't change the amount of money they make. It didn't kick their kid in the face. It didn't do anything to hurt anybody. Yeah. So it's weird for me when people take the statement of he should be kicked out of the NFL and he should. I'm like, there's people in there that are playing in the NFL that have beat their wives, that have, potentially murdered people. There's a lot more things to get mad about than a guy giving a commencement speech that he was hired to give and stating his opinion. Now, where I can see like some women getting upset is like, man, I'm working hard to get this degree. I'm working hard to have this job of mine. And I don't think he was against that. I mean, when I listened to him, he said most of you will go on to be very successful in your careers, but he believes that they will find more value and more pleasure in, their vocation as a wife and as a mother. And I think for my wife's, a boss babe or whatever they, call themselves, boss bitch, whatever. And she's got her own company and she's growing it and she's doing great things and she's made good money and had a great career. But I promise you, if I said, babe, I make enough money that you don't ever have to worry about working again. You can just be a mom and do what you love to do. You can focus on the things you love. You don't have to worry about making any money. She would love that. Now, I'm not saying she wouldn't still go create something, because she would. But I know my wife is like, she, more than anything, when we've had these conversations, she's like, I just want to be the best mom I can be. She's like, these years are short. These years with your kids, especially when they're little. I mean, as they get older, they don't need you as much. But when they're little and they're young, I mean, being there for them and having that constant is a huge deal. So for me, it's like, I wish that I was in the position that he's in, to be able to let my wife just be a wife. And to be able to let her be there with the kids and spend that time with them and lean into that. I wish we could do that. And we do well. I mean, we do well as a family, but we definitely have to have both incomes coming in to make this train drive the way it does. And so I wasn't offended by anything he said. I thought, there's a lot of stuff he said that applies to more his life, because he's making millions of dollars a year playing football, which he became one of the best in the world to do it. So he deserves that,
I took it as him saying, no matter how successful you become from this point forward, you're going to find more joy in marriage and becoming a mother.
Yeah.
And I don't disagree with that. I'll go back to you and your wife. You could take her a proposal of $5 million or being a mom.
Yeah.
She's going to say being a mom.
Yeah, 100%.
Period.
Yeah.
As would my wife, and I'm sure your wife would.
Yeah.
And so I hold the opinion he's not wrong.
Yeah.
I just think, like what y'all are saying, the media took that one little clip and they sold it the way they wanted to sell it to create the outrage.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I went back and watched the whole thing. I mean, some of it is his beliefs, as his religion, leads him towards, with everything from the transgender, stuff and things like that. I'm like, you can't get mad at a guy for having his belief. If you want the right to have your belief and you want the right, equal rights, to have the, to you be able to speak out about what you love, then he has to also have that right to speak out about what he believes or what he loves. So, like I said, I don't think there was as many people mad as what people think. I think the media does push that kind of narrative because it sells more news. Obviously it's been, but he's got the number one selling jersey in all the NFL now. And, I think they thought a lot more people were going to be mad that Kimona's like, no, I agree with him. I wish I could just be a mom, so yeah. I thought it was an interesting take, and you never know, like, was there something else they were trying to push out of the media with this, because when I look at him, I'm like, dude, the guy didn't hurt anybody, so. All right, so next topic, Caitlin Clark. Go ahead,
Have either of you been in a gender-inclusive bathroom yet?
No.
I've
been in many bathrooms at bars downtown and had women walk in to come pee, though.
I've been using the women's restroom for years, quite honestly. Just whatever's open, so.
So I had an event yesterday at the Putt Shack in Nashville, which is awesome, by the way. I'm going to take the kids soon. But they had a gender-inclusive bathroom. And when I went to use the restroom, I saw that the sign said gender-inclusive. And in front of me, walking into it, was like a 75, 80-year-old lady. And I thought to myself, I don't think she wants me in there with her.
Yeah.
So I just waited.
Yeah.
And waited, and she wasn't coming back out. So finally a waitress comes walking by, and I said, is there another restroom? And she's like, what do you mean? And I was like a men's. And she goes, oh, yeah, you got to go all the way down there, and it's going to be on your left. And I'm like, thank you. But it was in that moment I was like, I don't know how this is going to work.
Well, like what I was saying, I think for years, being in Nashville, the women's line for the bathroom is always way bigger than the men's, because we can put 25 urinals in there and everybody can go pee, or we put a big trough, and everybody can
just
go pee.
Just pee in the sink.
Or I watched a buddy of mine, Isaac Rich, rip a dude out one night for peeing in the sink. But I think it's always moved faster. So my whole life of being in downtown Nashville, I've seen girls go in and use the men's bathroom, and I don't have any issue with that. It doesn't bother me. what I do have an issue with is, hey, there could be some guy in the girls' bathroom where I don't go. I've never once walked into a girls' bathroom and been like, hey, unless it was a one-seater and like you're at a Chipotle and it's like, hey, they got one. And I was like, I'm going to use this bathroom. To me, you should just make both those because only one person can go. So why not just make them open? Yeah. But anyways, with that being said, I've seen that happen. But, but my little girl, when she gets to the age where she's starting to go in and use the bathroom by herself, 7, 8, 9 years old, whatever, I'm not okay with some random dude being in there that thinks he's a girl. I'm not okay with that.
And I wouldn't want to be the guy that's in there with her either.
Well, right? Yeah, but you don't have a mental disorder with that. I mean, I think it's a mental disorder, and I don't really think I have any worries about saying that. And if somebody don't like it, I don't give a shit. So if I can tell you this, if I'm standing there and I watch my little girl walk into the bathroom and I'm waiting outside for her, and I see some dude in a dress starting to walk in the bathroom, I'm like, hang on a second, buddy.
It's not your turn.
It's not your turn yet. It's full. Shitter's full. I'm not going to be afraid to do that because I'm not going to take the chance that, very likely this person could have no attraction to a little girl and all that. I think most of them probably they have their own demons they're battling, all this other stuff, and they may never have one thought about that. But if I handed you a jar full of M&Ms and I said only 3 of them are poisonous, are you going to eat any of the M&Ms? Maybe like 3 or 4, but just hopefully
I'm
you
not
don't.
Taking my chances.
No, that's what I'm saying is so like I'm not going to be like just at the off chance that you may or may not have this issue. No, you're not going in there with my kid.
Yeah.
Now there might be a woman in there that is that way, But I seem to think more that it seems to be the men that have mental illnesses that are in that situation that would go in and do something like that. So, anyways, that's where my take is on that. So on to the next subject, Caitlin Clark. Now, Butter's a phenomenal not basketball player, but he's 5'11". Now, Butter is really great with sports. Like, has a great mind for sports. He's a competitive human being and has played a lot of sports his whole life. What's your take on Caitlin Clark? How do you feel about her? People are actually starting to watch the WNBA now. Like, do you have any kind of emotional tie to her or anything?
I think that it's really fun to watch when somebody does something that just sort of astonishes you. The way the NBA game and the way basketball, when you compare like what a LeBron James does in basketball, they talked a lot about how Steph Curry sort of changed the game. LeBron came in and dominated with height, speed, power, quickness.
Yeah.
What Steph did with the ability to shoot from the outside so incredibly.
Yeah.
That to me is what has inspired a lot of young kids in basketball to play more because of the outside game, and her handle on the ball and her ability to shoot from deep, threes. To me, it's just astonishing. Where it goes in the NBA and how it plays out and does it, and are there charter flights now, and is there going to be more attendance and more viewership? I don't know how it goes. To me, it all starts with. She just can drop the ball from a long way away, and
she put one in from 35 feet the other night, just like from the logo, just bam,
off balance.
Yeah,
drop of a dime. She's a baller.
Yeah,
I coined a phrase though. I don't know because if it does go away, Caitlin Sanity. Oh. That's my phrase. I haven't really heard
Sanity.
It. Caitlin Sanity. Like Lynn Sanity
I love
when he
it.
played for the Knicks.
Yeah.
It was this big moment and he hype. So if it does,
we need to make shirts tomorrow.
Caitlin Sanity, maybe it's a whole different thing though. Maybe she resets the whole thing and brings a lot of new people into the NBA. And
I've never watched a WNBA game in my life ever, and I think they've done a great job at using the marketing between her and Angel Reese.
Yeah.
And there was one other one, but those two are the main ones because they had the bout, a couple years ago in the finals when Angel kind of got up in her face and all that other stuff, which I don't have any problem with that. I'm like, it's sports, get over it. People talk smack. You either get better.
That's why I watch sports, for the smack.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So I didn't have any problem with that. I think, Angel's a great player. I've watched a little bit, college basketball. I tended to watch more. I had never, and admittedly never watched that WNBA game in my life, but now I've watched 3 of them. I watched 3 of them because I'm like, well, let's see if this girl's really all the hype. I wasn't an Iowa, fan. I don't have no tie to them. I'm a Tennessee fan. I'm trying. Yeah. We're still trying to get as good as we were with Peyton Manning, and he didn't win one. Then T. Martin won it. But and that's in football, of course. But I've watched the games, and man, these girls go hard. I mean, all of them, not just Caitlin. I mean, all of them are out there. They're jumping at each other and tag. I mean, they're hitting hard. I mean, Caitlin, boy, she got smacked the other night, buddy. She went up to make a shot, and the girl went up to block it, and I think people were upset because they thought it should have been a foul. But I mean, I saw her hand hit the ball first, and then kind of the elbow ended up hitting Caitlin right in the face and knocking her to the ground. But it was actually, I was like, man, I could actually watch this game, So it was, this year was the first year that I watched NBA in a long time too. I think they've got a lot of characters now that kind of take me back to more of my, my childhood days with Jordan and Bird and Magic Johnson. I mean, they got Jokic and Dosnick, however you say his name, Donich, and of course you got LeBron, who's, probably still one of the best players, if not the best player.
Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie Irving's good. Steph Curry. I've been hearing rumors that they're all going to team up. That KD and LeBron and Curry and all them are going to go and meet up in LA and just get a championship. Why not at this point? Yeah. But yeah, no, I watched the game, and it was actually it was a lot more entertaining than I would have ever thought it was going to be, and I enjoyed watching it. I feel like the periods are shorter, maybe. In W. You're quick, man.
Well, they're all in the same cycle.
They are, yeah. But anyways, I think it's going to be great. I think these girls are all going to end up, I think that, unfortunately for Caitlin, there's been all this pressure put on her. I don't even know if she feels the pressure. She's still out there dropping 21, 22 points in some of these games. I think she's averaging 17 or 18 points a game. Of course, with that being said, she's got a lot of turnovers because she's handling the ball and all that kind of stuff. She's only going to
get better. She's got to catch up with the speed of the game.
Yeah.
Well,
physicalness of the game.
And she's on a team that drafted first.
Yeah, so that means you're playing on the worst team in the league. Yeah. So, but anyways, it was interesting to watch her play, and I think she's going to help these girls make a lot more money. Mm-hmm. I mean, they sold out Barclays Center. They had more people there at the Barclays Center for the WNBA game than they did the Knicks game when they were playing the Liberty. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. Anyways, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the what'd you say it?
Caitlin Sanity.
Caitlin Sanity. I'm a fan of that.
We'll see though. It might not be. That's a prognostication that I don't know if it's going to come true or not.
She's dropping bombs.
She's only going to get better.
Yeah. But I like Angel Reese too. Angel Reese is killing it. You see what she's been averaging like 10 rebounds a game. Yeah. That's a real deal.
She's a lot taller than people think.
Oh, is she? They're all taller than me. So
yeah, she's a tall girl.
I got to 5'11" and 3/4. Ain't quite hit the 6 foot mark. That's barefooted though. With my shoes on, clean 6 foot. All right, we need one more. So this is now your time.
Ooh, one more hot topic.
Hot topic. Oh, I was going to give him Diddy, but we already played that one out.
Diddy's a good one because there's new Diddy info.
Oh, there is new Diddy
with the whole the release of him beating Cassie and the
yeah. I forgot about that.
And LA coming out and saying there's too much time has passed. There's nothing they can do. So the question is, who released the tape?
Oh, after how many years? When was it? 2016.
After all these years, you think the feds did it?
That's a good question. Butter, your turn.
I really haven't seen much about it. It's crazy to me to think that these people that we've admired for so long, I don't know what's the truth. I don't know what is coming out as fact or what's. It's just crazy to me that any of these things and any of these situations could go hidden or undiscovered or unknown. And you hear chatter and different things and allegations, I guess maybe, but these mega stars in these high profile positions in this day and age, I don't know how certain things would remain sort of, behind the curtains and not be revealed. So if any of this stuff is true or whatever it is, I'm more taken back by how does it stay out of the news for so long?
Yeah. Well, I think it's what you're saying. Like who
the
released?
Answer to that is he's a Fed. He's been working for the Feds all this time.
Dang, we're going straight into conspiracy mode. I love it.
Well, same thing with Epstein, right?
Yeah.
Like it's all the same. It's all the same storyline, just two different dudes.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff on Diddy. I mean, there was one today they were talking about him and Carl Winslow, the actor that played Carl Winslow, had a thing. But I ain't going to believe that no matter what.
Is that the dude that carried the umbrella over, did he? Was that Carlton? I'm trying to think. Carlton Winslow. What's he?
No,
was that?
Carl Winslow was the dad on Family Matters.
Okay,
The Steve Urkel show.
Yeah, who was the guy that?
He was also in Die Hard.
Who was the guy that? He was a taller guy, kind of nerdy, and he would follow P. Diddy around with the umbrella.
I don't know.
Even if the sun was out on the beach, type deal.
I don't know, but you have to pay me a whole lot of money.
Somebody out there, hit us in the comments. Who was it?
Yeah, who was it? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who that would be. I mean, you'd have to pay me a lot of money to walk around with some dude with an umbrella over his head, even when there was no rain, or even if there was rain. Either way, you're gonna have to.
He became famous.
I don't know who he is.
He became a famous person.
Yeah,
I just can't remember his name.
Well, I mean, obviously Bieber has some songs that's alluded to. I sold my soul for a Lamborghini or whatever, or they got way more than my soul, or whatever. I'm like,
well, they say a lot of artists have tried to come out and warn people, including 50 Cent,
Cat Williams, 50
Williams.
Cent. Those are some big names to be coming at you.
Yeah, I don't want no.
Cat Williams is calling everybody out though. Listen, but we putting everybody on notice.
If you get on 50's radar, you're in trouble, bro.
Yeah, that's a good point. Hey, 50 don't care. I mean, they're like, I've seen in the comments because I love 50 Cent's stuff because he posts the most random stuff. He don't post nothing about his music or nothing else.
Give a shit.
He posts whatever he wants. But I've been following in the comments like, dude, you're going to end up dead. You're giving away too much. Blah blah. He's like, I don't give one crap. He's like, I already been shot with a few shells. Now I walk with a limp. So he's out there saying, bring it on. Yeah. Anyway, so Butter don't have any takes. He don't watch the news. He's too busy making comedy. So.
Yeah, I'm not a great guest on current events. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, we just always bring it up during the shows.
I should have come out of my butter bubble a little bit for some of that.
Butter bubble.
I thought you had a good take on all of it.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah, just I wanted like fierce butter. I wanted
creamy conversations with butter.
Creamy corn on the cobbler casserole.
Creamy corn on the cobbler casserole.
It's Butter's dish.
Forgot about that.
You could be creamy corn off the cobbler casserole.
That's right.
Anyway, all right. Well, here's the final interlude, and then we'll get the show started. I love you too, Jim. So you're out there, you're crushing some new goals, got some new things going on. You've been blessed to work with some great people along the way, all this other stuff. Is there anybody out there other than me, because you're doing this today with the podcast with all of us? Is there anybody out there that you haven't got to work with that, like, man, I would enjoy working with that person, whether it be a comedian, a musician, whatever? Who is it? Who can we push to say, hey, you need to get with Butter?
Guy Fieri and Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey slept on your couch.
I know. If they had a baby, it would be little baby Butter. If Guy Fieri and Steve Harvey had a creation, a little thing,
yeah,
it would that's where I would hope to get to.
Cooking and making people laugh.
I want to be around Guy Fieri. I have to be honest. Let's see, what's the date today? I don't know when this will air, but Guy's having a festival up in Columbus, Ohio, called Flavortown, and I've reached out to them 100 times saying, hey, let me come co-host, let me do something. So I'm trying to work with Guy. I was thinking about maybe some kind of fun cooking thing, and so Guy Fieri and Steve Harvey.
Is it a Live Nation thing?
I don't think so,
because they're getting sued.
Yeah, I saw that.
Out of DOJ. Whoa.
That's some crazy stuff right there.
I don't know enough about it to have it be a current topic, but I just know
it's a monopoly.
I sent you the little post I saw on it the other night. I was like, oh, I thought it was fake at first. I'm like, oh yeah, it's funny. They have pretty much taken over everything. And I was like, oh, it's real. I was like, oh, this is a real thing. Yeah. So when it pops up on my news on my phone as opposed to just on my TikTok or my Instagram, I know, oh, it's actually a real thing.
Are those two good people, Guy Fieri?
Yeah, it's great people.
Steve Harvey. Who else? I mean, who else would you want to work with?
I mean, for me, my number one, and it's always been this way, and you know that, but Sylvester Stallone, if I could meet one person and spend the day with them, or even just have, the conversation. Obviously, Jesus, my dad, things like that, people that are gone, or the people that, made it possible.
I got another one. Tell me this isn't the truth. This is the truth. Gronk.
Oh yeah.
Would you not want to work with Gronk?
Hang out with Gronk even just hang out with him for a day.
I would like to do a little thing with Gronk. Nate Bargatze.
Oh yeah, Nate's good. Well, we work with
he's a local guy.
Yeah. But we worked stuff with his dad and stuff. Our church always hires his dad every year. His dad's a comedian too.
Oh, really?
Hires his dad every year to do our big fundraiser that we do to help mechanics on a mission. We give those cars away and all that kind of stuff. So that's a possibility.
That is.
We're 1 degree of separation, bro.
I love it.
Yeah, Sylvester Stallone's always been my guy. I mean,
What would you do with him?
I just want to be around him, soak in some of his genius and just talk to him. And I mean, I've heard his story. I've watched every possible thing you can watch on him and stuff like that. I just admire a person that, he went for what he wanted no matter what. He was willing to, sell his dog just to be able to pay rent for another week so that he could, have another chance to pitch his movie, and then went back and bought his dog back for back then it was like $1,500, and this is back in the 70s. He buys this dog back, it's like he loved that dog, and he wasn't afraid to go back. I mean, back then, what was $1,700, $1,500, whatever it was, that kind of money back then in the 70s was a big deal for a dog, Go ahead.
Nikki Glazer,
Who's that?
the comedian. You didn't see her on the Tom Brady roast?
No, I haven't watched it yet. I haven't got to watch it yet.
It's so good.
I'm too obsessed with Tom Brady hair to to go.
Yeah, you do got Tom Brady hair.
Yes.
No, I think my other ones. I would enjoy spending some time with Adam Sandler.
Yeah, that's your guy. You've always loved his movies.
I love his movies. I think he brought me so much joy as a kid. Well, it's funny because I can always mirror parts of my life with different actors and different people, because the movies that Adam Sandler made gave me peace in a time when I was unpeaceful. Mm-hmm. And Jim Carrey was one of those guys too, and a few others. You think about those movies when we were younger. And then Stallone's movies, I feel like have always taught me to too bad, get up, suck it up, and go fight harder, go push harder. And I think I've always kind of mirrored stuff that I do after those type of guys. Obviously, as I started playing football, certain athletes have always inspired me. When I got into music, certain musicians have always inspired me. But I think at the core of who I am, it's those actors that made the kind of movies that, man, I want to have that kind of life. I want to fight for something that's as meaningful as that, or I want to laugh as much as that person laughs. So, anyways, those are mine. Those are yours.
My turn?
Yeah.
Would have been Kobe Bryant.
Good one.
The Black Mamba.
Yeah. I would have liked to have experienced a full day, sun up, sundown with Kobe. So because that's not an option.
You'd have to get up at 3 a.m. to go play basketball for 6 hours and then rest and then play basketball again for 6 hours.
So the irony in my next is very ironic. Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
Not because of who he was as a basketball player, but because of who he is today.
Yeah. Dr. Shaq.
Yeah. Dude's just done it all.
Yeah.
And a lot like you, full of joy, likes to make people laugh, likes to entertain, the whole DJ thing.
He's great.
Got the kids. I like his mentality there. I'm not giving you shit. This is my money. I will support you, but I'm not giving it to you.
He gives away a lot of money, though, and
yes,
does
he
it.
Yeah.
And he loves Shannon Sharp. Well, that's cool, man. Those are great ones. I would, either one of those would have been. I mean, I think we all had good ones.
Yeah.
Jim?
Sure.
Oh, they can't see you.
He can still have an
He's like,
opinion,
I just want to spend my days with Bigg Vinny, going overtime on everything. Chef? Oh, yeah, the Jeff. The one and only, the suitor. The suitor is your suitor. All right, and then the final thing is, where can we find you, Butter? If everybody's wanting to find your new content, what you're blowing up now, what you're doing, how you going, where you at? Tell us what to do.
Your boy Butter. URBOY, Butter. It's like butter, baby. Your boy Butter.
There you go. Your boy Butter. Follow him, love him, connect with him. We got so much more we could ask him, but we're going to let him go for the day because Jim said we have to end the podcast.
Jim.
Oh, Papa Smurf said it's time to close it up, Vinny.
5 stars.
After these, you got to remember, like us, subscribe to us, give us 5 stars, leave a review, tell all your friends about us, share it on your Instawebs, okay? With that being said, we'll see you next time.
It
ain't a passion that we learn, we were born